You're shopping at Dollar Tree, you know that you can find so many different candle holders and candle options, and you may be wondering, how can I use them in my home and how can I make them look high-end? Well, that's exactly what I'm gonna show you how to do in today's video. The last time I was shopping at Dollar Tree, I found these new candle holders and they looked very much like candle holders that I have seen on Anthropologie's website. They're 4 tapered candles, so I had to get them for this next DIY. If you look at the picture of the Anthropologie candles, they have this sheer look to them. So to achieve that look, we're going to need to use a sea glass spray paint. I have 2 options. I have an amber one and I also have a gray one in this kind of ice color. So I took both of the candle holders outside and I sprayed 2 of them in the gray ice color, and then I sprayed the other 2 with the amber color. I let that dry, flipped them over, and spray painted on the underside. You can see that you can still see through with this spray paint. If you don't have this spray paint, I will link it for you down below. It's one of my favorites. Once they had a chance to dry, I'm gonna use E6000 and stack 2 of the candle holders on top of each other. Now, what candles are we gonna put in there? I have these gold candles that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. So I wanted to try out a trick that I saw online with these candle holders. So what I'm gonna do is put these candles in my freezer and I let them freeze overnight. Took them out the next day and placed them in the Anthropologie inspired candle holders. If you freeze your tapered candles, it's supposed to prevent them from dripping. So I lit the candles and I checked back at 10 minutes. And you guys, I couldn't believe this. These candles were not dripping. So I thought, okay, let's take it a step further. So I checked them again at 30 minutes, still no drips. Then I went all the way to an hour. You guys, this trick works. If you've never done this and you want to prevent drips with your tapered candles, definitely put them in the freezer overnight. In the craft section at Dollar Tree, they're now carrying these ceramic vases, and these are perfect for painting. They really soak up that paint. So I bought 5 of them to do this next DIY. The ceramic vases have different patterns on them, so I'm gonna alternate the vases and E6000 them on top of each other. I'm gonna put 3 on one and then 2 on the other. Now with E6000, it's a good idea to let it dry overnight. I did that, and then the next day I was trying to decide what color I wanted it. I decided to go with a dark blue color. The color I'm gonna be using is Rain Cloud by Sherwin-Williams. This is one of their colors of the year. Every year at the beginning of the year, I look and see what Sherwin-Williams and Benjamin Moore picks for the colors of the year, and I usually get a few of them in sample paints to use in the DIYs. And I have to tell you, this color did not disappoint. I used it on both of the candle holders with a paintbrush. I also made sure to add in a little bit of paint on that top area where I was gonna put in the candle. Let this dry overnight, and then I decided to put in some Amazon LED candles. Now I will link to these down below in the description box. Love these LED candles. All you have to do is put in 2 AAA batteries and then screw in the bottom piece, and then you can use a remote to turn them on and off. So I'm gonna be using 2 of the LED candles, and they fit perfectly inside these base candle holders. Do you guys remember the shopping trip where I showed you these wood pedestal trays? I thought they were so great, I picked them up right away. Another item I saw on that shopping trip were these candle holders, so I got those as well. And I'm gonna make a simple tray with the round wood piece. I'm gonna add a little bit of E6000 to the candle holder and place that in the center of that wood tray. Now with my other tray that's kind of oblong, I'm gonna be placing a large candle that I had in my craft room on there. You can get these anywhere, IKEA, Hobby Lobby, so many different stores. I wanted to style these on my kitchen table and add on my matchstick holder. Now, if you remember this DIY, I used a ceramic vase that I picked up at Dollar Tree, and I had a box of matches. I cut out the striker piece on the side of the matchbox and I hot glued that to the bottom, and then I filled the vase with all of the matches. Then whenever you need to light it, you'll just light the bottom and use it to light your candle. Do you guys remember in the fall whenever I wrapped napkins around one of my candles and used one of my favorite crafting tools, this mini iron, to melt the napkin to the candle? Well, I wanted to try that again with some blue napkins. So I found these blue napkins off of Amazon, and I also had some white tapered candles from Dollar Tree. Now, in order to do this DIY, you're gonna have to open up your napkin. There's usually a white part to the napkin. Pull those two pieces apart because it's going to look so much better when you're finished. Next, I'm going to take the napkin and wrap it around my candle. You really don't want it to be overlapped. If it overlaps a little bit, that's no big deal. So just wrap it around and then cut off the excess. Then I like to take some parchment paper and I'll wrap my candle up in the parchment paper. Turn on your iron. It heats up to 310 degrees. This is my favorite iron. You guys need it in your craft room. I'll link it for you down below as well. And you're just gonna take the mini iron and go all the way around your candle. I have found that the parchment paper doesn't melt the entire candle. So typically what I do, and it seems to work okay, is I'll pull the parchment paper off and then I'll lightly run the iron over my candle until every piece of it is melted. Have a little bit at the bottom, you can cut off the excess and then just melt it around with your iron. This is honestly so easy to do. You could do it with tissue paper, napkins. I wanted to pair these with some candle holders that have been sitting in my craft room for a while. They're from Dollar Tree, but for some reason, they are different colors. There's like 2 different colors of gold. So to fix that, I'm gonna be using one of my favorite Rub and Buff colors, and I'll just rub that all over the candles. Let that dry, and then I'll place these candles inside. I absolutely love how they turned out. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Comment the word of the day, which is candle. Do you guys remember when I was thrifting and I found that blue and white dish and I added in a sand candle? Well, I have that out in my kitchen right now and really like it, but I was wondering if I could do it with Dollar Tree items. So when I was shopping there, I got one of their most basic candle holders. You guys know these, they've had them for years. And then I also bought this pretty bowl. I feel like this bowl is great and we need to use it in more DIYs because it is so pretty. And all I did was add the two together. I put E6000 on the candle holder and place that bowl on top. Now, the sand mixture you can buy off of Amazon and it comes in a pack. You just pour it into the bowl. It also comes with the wicks and the bases that you'll need. So you're going to take the wicks, thread them through the base and cut them to the size that you need them to be. And then you just place them down into the bottom of your candle. You don't need to glue them or anything. I put 4 in and then I placed this in my front room and I'll show you how it looks all lit up. If you like the look of these candles like I do, but don't want to spend the money, let me show you how you can dupe them at Dollar Tree. Pick up 6 of these candle holders from Dollar Tree. Then you're going to play around with them. So I like to stack them and figure out which configuration they're gonna look best. Once you have that in mind, you're just going to E6000 all of the pieces together. And to make that tapered look, you're gonna put 3 together, 2 together, and then you're gonna have 1 that's all by itself. I'm gonna be adding on some of my favorite candles from Amazon. They're by the brand Melt. I feel like they look really pretty and they last a while. And they're the 3x3 candles. And I'll place those on top. And when you put these out in a grouping, they look great, so high end and pretty affordable. Hey guys, I'm Liz and you're watching my second DIY channel, Liz Fenwick Daily. Now you may be familiar with my first DIY channel, Liz Fenwick DIY. I'm so glad that you found me over here. I would love for you to subscribe to Liz Fenwick Daily. I post daily DIYs.